From endless green fields stretching to the horizon, to giant trucks loaded with fruits weighing over 50 pounds each, the watermelon harvest is nothing short of spectacular. Farmers must pick each watermelon at the perfect moment. Too early, and it's tasteless. Too late, and it rots in the field. Imagine thousands of workers, powerful machines, and high-tech systems working in perfect harmony to deliver the fruit fresh to your table. Today, we'll take you inside the world of the supergiant watermelon harvest, where millions of tons are harvested and processed in ways you've never seen before. Before we jump into the fascinating world of the supergiant watermelon harvest, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Your support really helps us bring you more eye-opening stories from farms, factories, and processing plants across the globe. So let's dive right in. It all starts months earlier when farmers prepare the soil. The earth has to be loose, rich in nutrients, and well-drained. Seeds are planted in neat rows, spaced just right so every plant gets enough sunlight and water. Over the course of 80 to 100 days, these seeds transform into sprawling vines, with giant green fruits forming under the summer sun. But watermelons aren't just left alone to grow. Farmers monitor the plants every single day. They check soil moisture, irrigate when the weather is too dry, and make sure pests don't ruin the crop. The balance has to be perfect. Too much water, and the melons become mushy. Too little, and they won't reach their full sweetness. When the time is right, usually late summer, the harvest begins. This is where the spectacle really starts. Teams of workers or giant harvesting machines sweep across the fields. Each melon is checked for ripeness, usually by its yellow patch on the bottom or even the hollow sound it makes when tapped. Only the perfectly ripe ones are picked. In just a matter of hours, entire fields can be cleared. Trucks line up on the edge of the farm, ready to be loaded with tons upon tons of fresh, heavy watermelons. Watching workers form a human chain, tossing melons from hand to hand into trailers, or machines gently lifting them onto conveyor belts is mesmerizing. But harvesting is just the first step. These melons don't go straight to your table, not yet. The next phase is sorting and processing, where the magic of scale really becomes mind-blowing. Imagine warehouses the size of football stadiums, filled wall to wall with freshly picked watermelons. Every fruit has to be sorted, cleaned, and sometimes even cut or processed before it can move on. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. How millions of watermelons are transformed from simple fruits in the field into products ready for markets, stores, and even juice factories around the world. After the harvest, the watermelons don't just sit around. Their next stop is the sorting and processing facilities. Massive hubs where millions of fruits are handled every single season. Picture a warehouse so large it feels endless. Trucks rumble in one after another, unloading mountains of freshly picked melons. The air is filled with the sweet, refreshing scent of watermelon. But here, everything runs with military precision. First comes the sorting line. Conveyor belts stretch hundreds of feet long, carrying melons past dozens of workers and high-tech scanners. Each fruit is carefully checked for size, shape, color, and ripeness. Some facilities even use laser or AI-powered systems that can detect imperfections on the skin or even measure sugar levels inside without cutting them open. Perfect. Export-quality melons are separated. These will be wrapped, boxed, and shipped directly to supermarkets worldwide. Medium-grade melons are packed for local markets, ready for families to slice and enjoy on hot summer days. Misshapen or overripe melons? Don't worry, nothing goes to waste. These head straight to the processing section, where the real magic begins. Here, gigantic machines take over. Imagine industrial washers, blasting melons with jets of clean water, scrubbing away dirt from the fields. Then, massive slicers cut the fruits open in seconds, revealing bright red flesh glistening under the lights. It's a breathtaking sight. rivers of juicy watermelon flowing down stainless steel channels. From here, the melons are turned into all sorts of products. Freshly cut cubes sealed in containers for grab-and-go snacks. Watermelon juice bottled on the spot, with entire tanks filled in minutes. Puree and concentrate used later in candies, desserts, and drinks. Even the rinds and seeds are collected. Rinds for pickling or animal feed. Seeds for roasting or pressing into oil. This entire system is designed for zero waste and maximum efficiency. What once took days of manual labor is now achieved in a matter of hours, thanks to cutting-edge machinery and teamwork on an unbelievable scale. By the time a watermelon leaves the factory, it has been washed, sorted, cut, packaged, or processed with stunning precision, ready to travel across the globe or head straight into your fridge. But the story doesn't end here. In fact, the most fascinating part is yet to come. How these millions of tons of watermelon products are distributed, stored, and kept fresh for weeks, sometimes months, before reaching people like you and me. And that's exactly what we'll uncover in the next part. Once the watermelons are processed, the next challenge begins. How to move millions of tons of fruit across the globe without losing freshness. Huge refrigerated trucks, known as reefers, line up outside the factories. Each one is a moving cold room, carefully keeping melons at the perfect temperature. From here, they head to giant storage warehouses, some big enough to hold hundreds of thousands of melons at once. Inside, advanced cooling and humidity systems mimic natural conditions, preventing spoilage and keeping the fruit juicy for weeks. But the journey doesn't stop there. Containers packed with fresh and processed watermelons are loaded onto cargo ships, planes, and trains, destined for supermarkets in Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Every day, people in cities thousands of miles away bite into the sweet taste of a watermelon that may have been picked just days earlier. It's a mind-blowing global network, combining farmers, factories, logistics, and technology, all working together so that one simple fruit can travel from farm to your table in record time. If you enjoyed this journey into the super giant harvest of watermelons, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps us bringing more fascinating documentaries straight to you, from the farm to the factory to your table. See you in the next video, and until then, stay curious. Every morning, millions of people twist open a bottle of cherry juice, drawn in by its deep red hue, its tart sweetness, and the promise of health in every sip. But how many ever stop to wonder, where does this juice actually come from? How does a delicate fruit, soft, seasonal, and easily bruised, survive the journey from orchard to bottle without losing its taste, color, or nutrients? This isn't just fruit in a bottle, it's a marvel of timing, temperature, and technology. A race against the clock, where every hour counts. From mechanical tree shakers that can harvest 7,000 cherries in under a minute, to cold press machines that squeeze out liquid gold without crushing the nutrients, from sterile bottling lines moving at 200 bottles per minute, to sustainability systems that turn leftover cherry pits into renewable fuel. And it all begins with a single cherry. Each cherry tree takes years to mature. Farmers invest 3 to 5 seasons before a single fruit is harvested. And once the blooms appear in April or May, everything depends on timing and weather. Too much rain, and the cherries can split before they ripen. Too much sun, and the fruit loses its tart edge. A single late frost can wipe out an entire year's crop. That's why growers monitor every detail, using sensors to measure soil moisture, flying drones to track canopy growth, and sometimes even setting up wind machines to keep cold air away from vulnerable blossoms. Once the cherries hit peak ripeness, there's no time to waste. Harvesting sour cherries for juice is a race against the clock, and nature doesn't offer second chances. Within just a few days, cherries can go from perfect to spoiled. Timing, coordination, and technology all have to align. Unlike sweet cherries, which are often hand-picked to protect their delicate skin, sour cherries used for juice are harvested using machines. These mechanical tree shakers are marvels of efficiency. They grip the tree trunk, deliver a precise burst of vibration, and within seconds, thousands of cherries drop into fabric-covered catch frames spread beneath the trees. The process is fast, clean, and surprisingly gentle. A single shaker can harvest one tree in under 10 seconds. That speed matters, especially when entire orchards, sometimes hundreds of acres, need to be harvested within a few days. Crews often work long hours, starting before sunrise and finishing after dark, just to stay ahead of the ripening curve. The cherries, once shaken loose, are immediately funneled into large bins filled with chilled water. This isn't just for transport, it's hydrocooling, a critical step to lower the temperature of the fruit and slow down enzymatic decay. Within minutes of hitting the bin, the cherries are already beginning their preservation journey. From there, refrigerated trucks are loaded and dispatched quickly. Most cherry juice operations are designed to get fruit from orchard to factory within 12 to 24 hours. Any longer, and the quality begins to decline. Not just in flavor, but in nutritional value too. Each truckload is tipped into massive stainless steel hoppers, where the cherries begin their transition from raw produce to refined ingredient. The fruit is still chilled from the hydro-cooling process, which helps keep microbial growth to a minimum. But time is still a critical factor. The cherries enter a flume system, a water channel that gently moves them forward while washing away debris. This stage removes dirt, leaves, twigs, and any remaining stems. Jets of clean water spray the fruit at high pressure, ensuring surface contaminants are eliminated. But the real precision begins with sorting. As the cherries move down a conveyor belt, they pass through an optical sorting system. This high-speed equipment uses cameras and sensors to analyze color, shape, and size. Cherries that are too dark, too pale, misshapen, or bruised are automatically diverted out of the line with bursts of air. The goal is consistency. Only ripe, plump, and uniformly colored cherries make it through. Quality in, quality out. After optical sorting, the remaining cherries are inspected manually. Skilled workers stand along the belt, trained to catch what machines might miss, like small signs of mold or fruit that looks perfect on the outside but has internal damage. This combination of machine precision and human judgment ensures that only the highest quality cherries continue to the next phase, pitting. The fruit is now clean, sorted, and ready to reveal what really matters, the juicy, ruby red flesh inside. Cherry pits are hard, fibrous, and completely inedible. They contain small amounts of amygdalin, a naturally occurring compound that in large amounts can be toxic. More importantly, they're a physical hazard. No cherry juice can be extracted until the pits are removed. Modern pitting machines are built for both speed and accuracy. Each cherry is aligned into a small cradle that positions it perfectly. Then, a stainless steel rod punches through the center, pushing the pit out one end and leaving the soft fruit mostly intact. It's a delicate balance. Apply too little pressure, and the pit remains lodged inside. Too much force, and the fruit gets crushed, losing juice prematurely. What remains after pitting is pure cherry flesh, plump, seedless, and ready for pressing. By this point, the fruit has traveled just a few hours from the tree, but has already passed through a gauntlet of sorting, cleaning, and precision cutting. Everything up to now has been about preparing the fruit. What comes next is all about extracting the juice in a way that preserves everything people love about cherries: the color, the flavor, and the nutrients. To deliver a clean, shelf-stable product, the juice must go through filtration. The first step is coarse filtration. The juice passes through a series of mesh screens and gravity-fed separators to remove large particles, bits of skin, leftover pulp, and any stray fibers that slip through during pressing. This clears out the bulk of the debris without affecting the flavor. Next comes centrifugal clarification. Using high-speed centrifuges, the juice is spun at thousands of revolutions per minute. The spinning motion forces denser particles to the outside of the chamber, where they're collected and removed. What remains is a significantly clearer liquid, with a smoother texture and more consistent color. Once the juice has been filtered and pasteurized, it's ready for the final step: bottling. This is where science meets precision, and where everything that's been carefully protected, from the orchard to the press, must now be sealed without compromise. First, the juice is transferred to aseptic storage tanks, kept under tightly controlled temperatures and oxygen-free conditions. Oxygen is the enemy at this point. It can dull the flavor, fade the color, and shorten shelf life. Every aspect of the bottling environment is designed to minimize exposure to air, bacteria, and temperature fluctuations. Bottles, whether glass or food-grade PET plastic, are prepared in parallel. Before filling, they're sanitized using steam, UV light, or filtered water rinses. This ensures that no foreign particles or microbes are introduced during the filling process. The bottling line itself is a marvel of modern automation. Filling machines dispense exact volumes of juice into each bottle, accurate down to a fraction of a milliliter. In some facilities, this process happens at speeds of up to 300 bottles per minute. Immediately after filling, bottles are sealed, either with vacuum caps, heat-sealed foil, or tamper-evident lids, depending on the brand's packaging design. This seal locks in freshness and ensures the juice remains shelf-stable for weeks or even months. Each bottle is then labeled with essential information: ingredients, nutrition facts, origin, best by date, and a traceable batch code. This code allows producers to track every bottle back to its source orchard and processing batch, a critical step for both quality assurance and food safety compliance. But before the juice hits the shelves, there's one more line of defense: quality control. Random samples are pulled from the line for lab testing. Technicians check for sugar content, pH, microbial stability, and color consistency. If anything is outside the strict parameters, the entire batch is flagged and held for investigation. Once cleared, the bottles are packed into crates, shrink-wrapped, and loaded onto pallets. From there, they're either stored in refrigerated warehouses or sent directly to distributors and retailers around the world. By the time you see a bottle of cherry juice on the shelf, it's already traveled through a meticulous, multi-stage process, one designed to preserve not just taste, but trust. Every drop represents the combined efforts of farmers, engineers, food scientists, and operators, all working together to ensure the final product meets the highest possible standard. Cherry juice may seem simple at first glance: a refreshing drink, a daily health ritual, a splash of red in your morning routine. It's a journey of transformation, one that turns something fragile and seasonal into something powerful and lasting. If you enjoyed discovering how cherry juice is made, from farm to factory, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment with your favorite part, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes looks into how the foods you love are created. New episodes every week, so hit the notification bell to never miss a drop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Every year, more than 100 million metric tons of sweet potatoes are harvested across the globe. From humble farms to state-of-the-art processing facilities, this root vegetable plays a crucial role in feeding millions. But what does it take to grow, harvest, and mass-produce sweet potatoes at scale? Today, we go behind the scenes of the global sweet potato industry, where precision farming meets industrial engineering, to see how this vibrant orange crop travels from soil to supermarket shelves.